Hey all, and welcome back. So we have another Machine Robo figure here from Action Toys, and this one is number 4 Battle Robo, also known as Tank from the Gobot line. Now, one thing that you might notice is different is that he's a much lighter color than the Gobot one, and it's because he had to be designed based on the character model from the Revenge of Cronos anime, not the toy. So that is why we have this different shade of blue here. However, I still think it looks really good. And like the others, this one comes with a box with the same theme, robot mode in front, and the back we have the vehicle mode. Includes a set of instructions, as well as each one has another sheet that has little safety tips to make sure you don't do any damage to the figure. And then we've got these really neat stands that are included. And just like the other stands, each one of these figures has their own peg that allows it to work with the stand. So, to get started, let's go ahead and look at articulation. This guy's got loads of it. So, we've got the front feet on a ball joint. The treads also are each on their own joint, though they don't really serve a purpose other than maybe in vehicle mode to get over terrain. Single knee, where the other ones had the double joints. Hip rotation. Thigh swivel. These skirts on the side do have a little bit of movement. No waist rotation. This actually needs to be locked. Shoulder rotation. Shoulder joint there, as well as the shoulder joint in the main section. Single elbow joint. Wrists are on a ball joint. Then we have this turret, and it has its own articulation. The guns in the back have their articulation. It can actually rotate, so even if you don't like it, you can put it out of the way. And then lastly, even though it doesn't look like it, there is head rotation. So you can turn the head in, though it does produce a gap right there. I don't mind if it didn't have that, but it is nice that you can give him a little bit of a directional look. Now, as far as details go, he's a very hefty figure. He's probably the most solid filling out of all of them, though the biggest gripe I'd have against him is the lack of heel articulation. It's just a solid piece back here where it will make it a little harder for him to stand. I think he'll have a tendency to fall backward. He seems to do okay, but I do fear that he's going to eventually fall backwards. So he's going to be one that's likely in robot mode going to need to be on the stand. But the details are great in here. I'd say the one other gripe I have about robot mode, now this face is actually a really cool looking face. However, there's something about it that's a little bit muted. And it could be because the plastic around it is such a lower contrast due to being a lighter blue. I think maybe something darker around there, or maybe pen line, something would have helped it. It's not horrible, but it is a little bland compared to some of the other faces. At least the other two figures I've reviewed. But anyway, it is a great looking bot mode, and I would say out of the three, this one is really tied for Eagle Robo with me. He's either tied with him or second place. It's really close. This figure, actually, when I saw this preview, was the first one that really drew me to the line. This has the aesthetic that says Gobots to me. It's got that sort of strange robot design in the head sculpt, the stoic look about it, just sort of a unique character about it, rather than just, I mean, they do so much to personalize and give character to the Transformer figures, and there was something about the Gobots that was a little more unique, a little bit more drone-ish, and I think it's because at some point they might have been vehicles in one of the lines, rather than autonomous robots. So, either way, very cool figure. Let's go ahead and transform, and the transformation is actually pretty neat. Now, first thing we're going to do, we're going to pop off this turret. And it's kind of clever how this all becomes so compact. Now, even though we have this hand articulation, we still are able to lock those up in there. And that does produce a hollow spot here, but you really don't notice it unless you have it in certain positions and you're looking from the back. So you push the hands up, and then unpeg the torso. Oh, make sure these are down. Unpeg the torso. and you let that go down. And this itself, I mean, if you lift the hands out, this itself is very Gobot to have a cockpit head rather than having a typical head. Now, that reveals these two turrets. They're on the waist, and they'll go forward. And then we can fold this down. Actually, before we do that, go ahead and fold these back. So fold the arms back, and they will lock together at the connectors that allow the where the hands are mounted. So we've got that, and then we're going to take this section here, in the front, turn that out, and this one is such a simple transformation, and it accomplishes so much. We'll rotate the feet, and you notice there's a peg in there, and then this is probably the trickiest part. So what we're going to want to do is, I'm going to attempt it this way first. We'll lock them together. I've been finding so far that when you do these together, it's a little trickier. Oh, and one last thing. So these skirts here are actually going to fold into the side of the thighs. And then we will fold this over, and that will collapse. Now here's the part that's a little trickier. So these panels here, and this plastic on this side here, versus all the other plastic on the figure, maybe this part a little well, reminds me of the Mock Toys texture. So the rumors that one of their designers is what's involved in this might definitely hold true. So, but these panels here are going to snap into the arms, and that's a little tricky because there's a little bit of shifting that needs to be done. Let's see. Yeah, so there we go. So something in this will actually cock forward, and then it'll line those holes up, and you can do that. And then lastly, we'll rotate this turret, move these guns forward, and then the arm weapon will snap into here. And then we have one last thing. These feet will slot into the front of the vehicle. And there we have our tank. And it is very reminiscent of the original figure. I wish I had the original tank. But you can definitely see the inspiration, though unfortunately these figures do lack chrome, which would have been a nice addition. But of course they're going after the animation model. But yeah, this is really cool. So what you get here, you've got a moving turret, so you can go rotate with that. You've got the guns up front, and these of course can go up. It is a little strange where this barrel pivots on the main gun, but looking forward it's not bad. And then you have these with their articulation as well, so if you want him going over a rock or whatever, you can balance him on some strange terrain. But yeah, definitely a cool figure. Put him over on a stand. Yeah, I would say out of the three, this one's tied with Eagle Robo. Definitely worth picking up if you're a fan of, third-party styled transforming robots, and you're a fan of Gobots or Machine Robo. Definitely be checking this one out, because even though the color is a little muted versus the Gobot toy, definitely a top-notch figure. So anyway, we've got another video I'm going to do. I'm going to try to compare all of them and compare them to a few other toy lines and a handful of other figures. So make sure you check that out. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.